Hey guys, welcome to your first day of online learning and my first day of online teaching. I am extremely excited to get back to working with y'all and getting to do what I love. And I'm extremely excited to getting to see y'all's faces later at the Google Hangout / student help session / whatever you want to call it. So let's get started. This week's focused on geometry. And so today what we're doing is a little mini topic, but for the rest of the week, we're going to be focusing on area and volume. So what we're looking at today is just properties of triangles. Now, these notes right here will be posted on Google Classroom with this video, so you're welcome to look over those. Actually, I want you to look over these too, because right now I'm not going to talk about this part. This is just information for you to have, and I need you to read it for me, please, and thank you. All right, so the topic that I want to talk about right now is this right here. Now, one of the uses of equations, which we talked about earlier in the year, where we're solving for something we don't know, is in geometry. So when we are dealing with shapes and triangles, we know that when we have two lines that meet, they create an angle. Now this right here is a 90-degree angle. We don't know what this is. We don't know what this is, but the point is that in certain shapes, there are rules for what the angles add up to. So like in any quadrilateral, whether that be a rectangle, a parallelogram, a trapezoid, a rhombus, okay, whatever the heck quadrilateral you want to talk about, the sum of the angles is always, okay, 360 degrees. Now, you can see from right here, we're talking about triangles. And right here it says the sum of the three angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. And this is why. If I cut a quadrilateral in half, you know what I get? I get triangles, okay? So the sum of the angles in a triangle is going to be half. It's going to be half of, okay? Triangle is half of a quadrilateral, okay? So half of the angles in a quadrilateral would be 180. So sum of angles in a triangle is 180 degrees, right? So that's the first thing you need to know. Now let me show you how to use equations to solve for missing angles. So if I have a triangle such as this, and let's say, okay, say this is 62, this is 73, and we want to know what this is. Well, we know that angle A plus angle B plus whatever angle C is going to equal 180 degrees. Now all we're going to do is we're going to replace our angles with what we know they represent. So angle A, they told us was 62 degrees. Angle B is 73, but we don't know what angle C is. So we're going to use a variable to represent that. I'm going to use X, you could use C. You could literally use the letter C, you could use B, you could use, I wouldn't use B since we already have an angle B here. We're just using a variable to represent something we don't know, all right? So, now that we've replaced everything, we know that 62 plus 73 plus X will give us 180 degrees. Okay. And now all we need to do is combine what we can. So, our goal is to figure out what this number is. But we already know the value of 62 and 73, so let's combine them to make our lives a little easier. 62 plus 73 is 135. Then that plus X gives us our 180. Now, at this point, it's just a one-step equation. So all we're going to do is undo what's with the X. So right now we're adding 135 to X, so we're going to take away 135 to isolate our X. And that's going to leave us with x on this side. It's going to leave us with 55. Just kidding. It's going to leave us with 45 on this side, right? So what that means is that the missing number right here, that'll give us a sum of 180 degrees, is 45, which means that angle C is 45 degrees. Now, on here, I have other examples that I've worked through, right? And so what I want you to do is I want you to read over the notes and then do the practice set on Khan Academy. Keep in mind, guys, as long as we're doing this digital learning, just because we're not at school doesn't mean you don't have to show work. Showing work is not optional. Now, notice that I wrote out this to remind myself that the angles add up to 180. I wrote out where I plugged in the numbers. I wrote out that I combined those, but I didn't write down, 32 plus 81 and then add them like that. I can do that in my head. And if you can also do that in your head too, that's fine. You don't need to write that part, but you still need to show that you are combining 32 and 81. You need to show me that that's what you're doing, okay? And on the weekly assignment, I'll put a place for you to show your work or to upload your work. So keep that in mind as the week goes on. Any questions, you can ask me when we have our Google Hangout time, and I'll see you tomorrow.